Nikola, early April you took over the first men's team from Radenko.
Yes.
But I think when you done that, not everybody was quite aware about you as a person. So I want to start with, can you make your personal introduction?
Yes, but I'm playing basketball, of course, some period, but I'm very early become the coach, and I have the luck to become the head coach in my 24th year. So let's say now I'm how many 22 years I'm in the basketball job, and most of the time I was the head coach of the teams. So that is my biography. And I was starting in Serbia on some lower levels. Then I was with some club. I progressed from league by league. And then I was in the head coach of the women Red Star basketball club. Then after that I was again in Serbia. Then again I go to Kuwait in the Middle East. I was coaching there 3 seasons. Then I have some break. And then after that I was again in Serbia, two clubs. Then after that I go to Middle East again. Then after the Corona, I have again work in the Middle East. But then I go last season I was in Serbia also in the first league head coach. And then this invitation come from the Basketball Academy Limburg, and I accept this as a new concept of my coaching life, which I think is something that I can offer new here, and also to live in an environment I didn't live before in my life.
So how does it that ball gets to you as a coach while you're working most of your career into Serbia or into Kuwait, like you say? Well, Dutch basketball is something completely different. So how did they come to knock on your door?
But they come off, you mean like how I get in the contact? Or yeah, because Jeroen Van Wien, he was the chairman, and he asked some agents about it, so they recommended me. And to be honest, I wasn't sure what kind of job is this, but then when I ask, of course, people who are nearby the club and about the league and about everything, so the system, I accepted. So I can say that I was not surprised too much. I know exactly where I coming and how this gonna looks like, more or less, yeah.
But you go over quite quickly through those clubs. But you're being quite modest about that because they are big clubs. Obviously, basketball is a big sport in Serbia. But also you worked with some players in there who eventually ended up in the NBA.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, Marko Jaric, he was my teammate when I was a player, and then after that he was of course he was in some period of career. I worked with him, help him. And then I was also have some player in the UCLA University. I was also during the summer preparing him for that. So this kind of players was interesting, doing with that and having them in the coaching life. So it was, in Serbia a lot of players are, interacted, and we know each other. So the basketball is national sport number one. And that is how we making, the players, and we know each other and make the programs for them. So that is the way.
But how do you look back to that such successful basketball players that you've worked with them, and then you see them playing 7-8 years in the NBA, and I think that
to be honest,
with Belicia, he even went NBA champion.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I was in my early his early age. I met him and I do some practices. I cannot say that I make any player. I like to say we cannot. We just can influence on their careers, but they're born by mothers and the fathers, so we just can show them some ways. But we think it is good for them, so that is how we go.
So how do you take that experience with such a good basketball players and also into a culture like Serbia, where basketball is so as an important sport, to the Netherlands, where basketball is small?
I think in the Netherlands, for example, what is also interesting for me is that the Netherlands have the very tall people and very talented players. And I was also asking myself what we can do that, for example, in football, Netherlands is dominating more or less, but they have very, very good results. And I think that, maybe through some changes we can do that in basketball, because physical potential is there. and the capacity, of course, now about the timing for the practicing and everything else is different. But generally, I think that what is the most important is first, let's say, goal for any nation is that you have physical potential. Because, for example, when I was working in Kuwait, they are, physically not on the level that can bring them such a success to be champions of the world or something like that. But here in Netherlands, I recognize this kind of potential.
So when you look at the academy right now, as your role as the head of the academy within BAL, how do you value or how do you judge the potential of the players that are playing today in the different age categories?
Yeah, but I think I recognizing some of the talents. To be honest, I don't like to speak about the names, but I recognize some of the talents, and I think during the process of working, if they accept some kind of changes, that they maybe can go to the big market, and become the serious players on the Europe level, or let's say on the level of the NCAA colleges. So which is very important, especially now. It's becoming very, very important for the young players because an NIL rule. So I believe that these kind of potentials can be, transferred to the serious players in the future.
And how do you see the academy as it stands today with regards of the number of practices, the way that things are being done? What would be the next step that you would like to establish moving forward and bringing the academy to a higher level?
Yep, I think academy is organized very well. To be honest, in the Dutch circumstances, I mean, when you look now all the system, if you take one day of the young player who goes to school, so we offer him in the morning, offer him morning practice, we offer him afternoon practice, which is very important to develop with the players. And I think academy have the set very good, let's say, system of how we should make. Maybe in the way of, I think, should be a little more hours for the practice, but that should be discussed for the next season how we can make it, if it's possible, of course. But generally, I think now this is also happening in all around the world that kids or players are changing the mindset about the game, because now when I was a player before, he was practicing, for example, 6-7 hours daily, and that was something which is normal. Now the things are changing because of a lot of other aspects of the life and the coaching training processes. But I believe that our academy doing very seriously and approaching very seriously to the developing of the players, and which is, I think, our most important role when we are thinking about how to have the basketball players for the future.
And if you look forward, so let's say 3 years, and things happen how you have them, how do you envision them? Where would the academy and the rest of the club be in 3 years from now?
I think we should develop our own players to have them in our own senior system teams, and from the women's side and from the men's side. And I think that my goal is that we find and develop the talents who are tomorrow will be senior players on the European level. That is the most, let's say, important goal for us, for me as a coach, and for the academy.
So now we've seen just recently being announced that our first team will not play in the B-Next League anymore as of next season. What's the impact in your view to the academy and the rest of the club?
But to be honest, I think, for example, if you look now the roster of this season, we have few players from our academy who are directly was involved in the roster of the senior team, and they didn't have, for example, because of different circumstances, too much time on the floor, because it was realistic, yeah. But I think because we announced that we not play next season, it will be, I think, on one way good, because the young players who we have now in the let's say under 19 team, I will give them more chance to play and use the playing time in the games with Jaren 1, which is very important for them as a young players to develop and to feel the playing the level of the senior basketball. And I think it will be quite of good thing for them, because if you give the chance, I always all my life I like to give the chance to young players, and if we give them the enough time on the floor in the big important role, not like some garbage time or something, they can feel that, and they can also be more motivated during this season, because we're planning to a few players who are now in under 19 to give them the chance to also participate in the practicing and the playing games for the Karen 1. So I think that is the only way how the young player is becoming a senior serious player, because it's not enough just to play. It's important how he play and how he feel the difference between youth and the senior basketball.
Are you saying with that as well that you would prefer and would prioritize the playing time and also the development of the academy players going into the Heren 1 team over external ones and maybe winning a couple of games more because of that?
Yes, because it depends how. But when I will select the players for the new season, I will trying to make a balance between the let's say experienced players and the young players, to have both, and each other they will help. The young players will help him with probably with more energy than the senior players, and the senior players with more experience. So we will have. I would like to make a mix of them to be tomorrow. One compact and good competitive team. So it's very important to be a competitive team and try, if it's possible, to be the first in that league. That is also one of our ideas how to gonna make. For that, of course, we need a lot of work during the summer and preparing everybody, for that. But I think this philosophy of basketball playing is good especially for the academy, and also should be the motivation for all other young players who are in our team, in our academy, for all levels, that they know that they will get, if they work hard and they are developing their talent, they will get the chance to play on the big scene. And depends of course the structuring of the club and some other things, but we can easily come back in the BNX league if clubs support that. But so we have two goals. Let's say to develop the players, to give them a chance to play on the highest level, and also that we have some good results with these kind of players. So that is.
So if I would be a young 14-year-old talented player looking to develop myself as a basketball player, why would I need to come to Weert to play for the BAL Academy?
Because of the good coaching staff, because of the good number of the practice sessions, and because of the taking care about your career in the future. Because we don't. I know that a lot of parents thinking about winning or losing the games, and that is, of course, we competing to win, yes, not to lose. But when I making a perspective of some players, for example, especially now 14 years old or 15, 16 years old, I'm not interested in that moment. I'm interested in the moment what he will become when he comes at the senior level. For example, you have biologically some players in the same age are physically more mature. We call that like we call that on like they maturing biologically earlier than some others, but in the perspective they give us some wins. But the perspective tomorrow, who will be, in the zenith of his career, more for the basketball, it will be maybe someone who is, let's say, in the 14 years old. He had not enough power, enough size, yep, and everything else. So we don't looking that moment. We're looking the moment 3 or 4 years in front.
So if you had to choose a successful player who comes through the academy and makes the next step to a top Benelux club, or maybe to Germany or to Southern Europe, or to be a champion and going back to the B-Next League and play a serious role there, what would be your preference?
You want me to say some name or?
No. Just where would you like to be as a club? Rather talent development versus...
To be honest, we should be in the highest competition. Is it possible? That is always better than paying lowest. But I think sometimes you have you can choose different models of and depending of the team roster you have in that moment, we can always discuss what is better to have 2-3 wins during the season or 5 in one league, or on the other league you have let's be very competitive and be in the top of that league. So depending of what we want, definitely we should make and we should play in the future the highest competition we can as a BAL. So that is definitely. So, but for that also we need a good base, and good base is our home ground players who let's say rising in this club, and we can bring them to the highest level, which is I think the best way of exposing what we do. Because if some player grown from 14, 16 years old in our club, and he become the serious senior player, that means that we do a lot of good job.
And I think you showed that last Saturday when we were playing Oostende, having 3-4 guys really making serious minutes on the court, playing the Belgium champion, and really contributing to unfortunately a narrow loss at the end.
That is my way of thinking. Yes, that is my. So thank you for your time to give me the chance to speak for the BAL and parents and the players who will listen to this.
You're welcome, and we definitely try to do this on a regular basis just to keep everybody updated.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Yeah.
Jeremy, voor degenen die je nog niet kennen en de exacte rol die je nu binnen de Basketbal Academie Limburg vervult, stel je jezelf even voor.
Ja, Academie. Ik ben coach aan de meidenkant hier bij BAL. Coach zelf de onder 18, onder 21. Ik heb wat geassisteerd bij de onder 16 ook en bij dames-lijn.
Hoe kijk je eigenlijk terug naar het afgelopen seizoen? Want we zijn eigenlijk nu bijna klaar in de reguliere seizoen in ieder geval. Hoe kijk je daarop terug?
Het was mijn eerste jaar hier bij BAL. Ook mijn eerste jaar een fulltime functie in basketbal. Dus dat was even wennen. Maar afgezien van de onduidelijkheid, alles wat er speelde, wel gewoon een heel leuk jaar gehad. Met onder 18, onder 21 bekerfinale gehaald. Niet gewonnen helaas, maar wel gewoon een mooie ervaring om mee te maken. Dus.
Zeker die bekerfinales van de dames. Hoe heb je, niet alleen jezelf, maar hoe heeft het team dat ook beleefd? En eigenlijk door het jaar heen daar naartoe gegroeid en naartoe geleefd?
Ja, leuk denk ik. Met beide groepen daar gewoon op een hele leuke manier naartoe geleefd, naartoe gewerkt. Ja, het was gewoon mooi om mee te maken met beide groepen.
Hoe is de spirit dan in zo'n team? Want je ziet dat denk ik een beetje groeien ook door het jaar heen. Dat de mogelijkheden en misschien wel van we gaan die finale halen heel langzaam en het bewustzijn daarvan heel langzaam ontstaat. Hoe ervaar je dat als je voor die groep staat en elke week met die meiden werkt?
Dat leeft natuurlijk heel erg. Dat merken we wel. Bij onder 21 zagen we al vanaf het begin dat we aan de betere kant van het schema zaten. Dus we wisten daar al dat we een goede kans hadden om de finale te halen. Wij onder 18 hadden wel een moeilijker pad heen. Maar op het moment dat je daar komt, zoals een halve finale speelt, zo'n halve finale wint, ja, het leeft toch wel echt heel erg. Dat was mooi om mee te maken.
Snap ik. Kun je ook even uitleggen hoeveel dat die verschillende groepen eigenlijk trainen, hoe hard ze ervoor werken om uiteindelijk daar te komen waar de ze uiteindelijk geraakt zijn?
In principe hebben beide teams 4 basketbaltrainingen per week, 4 teamtrainingen basketbal. 1 of 2 keer ochtend basketbaltraining, dat is meer gericht op fundamentals, op schieten, op balhandeling. En 2 keer in de week fysieke training.
En als je het vergelijkt met andere clubs, hoe verhoudt zich dat? Om een andere manier te zeggen, als ik een basketbaltalent ben in Nederland aan de meidenkant, waarom moet ik in Weert komen spelen?
Voornamelijk het aantal trainingen. Bij de meeste verenigingen, ook waar ik zelf getraind heb, daar train je 3 tot 4 keer in de week, in de avond. Heb je ook gewoon minder fysieke begeleiding. En Ik denk dat we hier gewoon een goed programma hebben. Dat we weten wat een speler nodig heeft om de volgende stappen te maken in haar ontwikkeling.
Je raakt het zelf al heel even aan. De onduidelijkheid die er toch een tijd is geweest hier. Met name op het bestuurlijke vlak. En het voorbestaan. En misschien vooral ook het voorbestaan in welke vorm dan ook. Nu dat achter de rug is, hoe kijk je naar de toekomst?
Goed, denk ik. We hebben werk te doen natuurlijk. Maar wat ik al zei, ik denk dat hier gewoon een mooi programma staat. Met meiden die ook gewoon willen werken. Met coaches die willen werken. Fysieke trainers, alles die gewoon de kennis hebben. Dus ik denk dat wij gewoon klaar staan om een mooi programma voor te gaan zetten hier.
En hoe kijk je dan naar het komende jaar als dat een succesvol seizoen is? Wat is er dan gebeurd als we hier over een jaar zitten?
Ik denk dat eigenlijk altijd het belangrijkste is de ontwikkeling van de speelsters. Dus als speelsters de volgende stap kunnen zetten, waar dat ook is, of dat aan het buitenland is of wat dan ook, dan hebben wij ons werk gedaan.
Dus je zegt daarmee eigenlijk ook van Academie gaat vooral om de persoonlijke ontwikkeling en de speelster in een team. Ja. Om uiteindelijk een eventuele volgende stap te kunnen maken en niet noodzakelijkerwijs om zelf maar kampioen te kunnen worden.
Nee. Als het gebeurt, als je een goed team hebt, een goede lichting en je kan voor de prijzen spelen, zeker. Dat is gewoon een leerervaring. Maar kampioen worden of wat dan ook is niet het hoofddoel.
Als ik nou een talentvolle speelster ben, ook van jonge leeftijd, en ik twijfel of dat ik in een academie zou moeten gaan spelen of lekker op verenigingsniveau met 1 of 2 keer in de week trainen. Wat zou je tegen haar zeggen?
Kom in ieder geval een dagje meetrainen. Maak beide trainingen mee, ochtend- en middagtraining. En kijk hoe dat voelt, kijk hoe dat is. Of het iets is wat bij jou past.
En als dat ik die stap zou willen nemen, wat doe ik dan? Stuur ik iemand een mailtje? Ga ik iemand bellen?
Dan kan je met ons in contact komen via de website. En dan gaan we gewoon kijken of dit een programma voor jou is.
Helemaal goed. Heb ik je nog iets vergeten te vragen?
Ik denk het niet.
Nee?
Ik denk het niet.
Nee, helemaal goed. Dankjewel voor deze toelichting.